parents. I want to start by just saying that I want to say thank you for allowing me to be your child's teacher this year and for all of your help and support so far. You've really made being able to teach them a real pleasure, and I thank you for all that you do. I know these next couple of months are going to be a little bit crazy because I'm kind of asking you to step into my shoes. I know sometimes I feel like their parent when I have them when they're at school with me, so I'm kind of, I guess, asking you to reverse and now feel a little bit like their teacher when they're at home with you. I know it's asking a lot. I know that the district is going to be putting out packets of reading and math for them to work on. But I thought that I would go maybe a little bit further because these are very generic packets that you're going to get, and they don't really focus on what I want them to be doing. And I know that a lot of you are working on trying to have school time and school hours. I also know that a lot of you are still working, and so you don't have quite as much time. So I wanted to make something that would work for everyone and everyone's schedule, and that you would be able to kind of customize and make work for you and in the way that works best for your family and your child. Um, so to that end, I'm going to send you a link on ClassDojo. And this link will take you to a Google Drive folder titled Spring 2020 Lessons and Activities. Essentially what this is it's a place where I can put all of the work and the SOLs that I had not had a chance yet to teach your child this year, that they still would have had time to do in the 2 months we had left of school. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the folder and explain everything to you. I know it's going to seem a little bit overwhelming, but I'm hoping that doing it in a video like this will make it a little less scary. So we're going to start by looking first at math. So in math, you can see we had 5 things left to teach. Now, I had already kind of done measurement with my class, so they might already kind of know what to do. But essentially what we have here are folders for each of the 5 SOLs left to teach in math. When you click on the folder, there is a list of printable activities that you can do with your child at home. Now, these are things that, of course, will not be printed for you. Unfortunately, you would have to print them on your own. If you don't have a printer, if you don't have a reliable printer, if you can't get to a printer, I completely understand. A lot of these things can be done simply by pulling it up on the screen and discussing it and talking about it with your child. So, for example, this one is a little graph and they answer the question. So if you're not able to print it out, your child could simply look and you could read through the question and discuss it with them and have them read the question and tell you the answers. So you'll see that for each one of, like in measurement, here's like, for example, Measurement Olympics, and your child could simply pull it up on the computer, read it right off of here, and do it straight off a computer without having to print it. So if you are unable to print, then that's always an option. I also have what I call the Continued Learning Plan for Spring of 2020. So what I've done here is, this looks overwhelming as a document. This is essentially the legit teacher document. So when I teach, I use these things right here, the SOL, and then what I'm calling the official description. This is what the VDOE writes, and this is what I use to figure out what to teach your child. So you can tell the language is very formal, it's very specific. This part is just for your knowledge and information. This part that's going to be in yellow is the part that's really important. This is, what do they actually have to know? What do I really need for my child to be able to get out of this particular unit? And then we have on the side linked activities. The printable activities are going to take you back to the folders we were just in. The other ones are either going to be a video or a game that would just help enhance their learning of this particular subject. I know this seems a little bit overwhelming right now but trust me, I have something else in place that I think will help. So this covers math. Again, we have graphs, measurement, probability, shapes, and symmetry. My goal is to make videos to kind of explain each of these, but we'll see. It depends on what I end up getting access to camera-wise. In science and social studies, it's set up pretty much the same way. So we have only 3 in science and social studies. I only had 3 SOLs left to teach. Science would be plant products and magnets. Social studies is Native Americans. Again, just like in math, inside each folder, you've got a whole bunch of different activities that you can do with them. There's lessons, and again, some of them, yes, are better obviously if you can print it, but if you can't, you can just do it orally with your child. Some of them I will be trying to make into Google Classroom things and try to also put into Google Classroom for you so that they can be done online if possible. And then again, we have this continued learning plan, and it goes through science and social studies. So again, we have, the official stuff that's all written down by the VDOE, so the SOL official description. Then we have, okay, what do you really need to know about these things? What does your child really need? And again, same deal in social studies. We're looking at the same thing. Now, social studies, I will say, is purely a memorization thing. So these little tables right here, this and this one down here, it's straight memorization. That's really all that it is. I will walk you through how I teach it, but it's literally, they just have to memorize the information. It's not something that I would kill yourself over. I don't think that this doesn't really come around again at any point. They'll touch on the Powhatan when they learn about Virginia studies in 4th grade, but it's not something that if your child can't remember that the Pueblo lived in multi-story terrace buildings and were farmers who walked and hunted, it's truly not something that I would really, freak out over. Same deal with plant products. Science and social studies, a lot of it is just kind of arbitrary memorization. In the writing folder, I don't have anything in there yet. I'm working on stuff, but this one right now is blank. In the reading folder, here's the thing about reading. So I've technically taught all the SOLs that needed to be taught in reading for the entire school year. So the last 2 months of school, I was really going to focus on reading passages, answering questions, comprehension skills, comprehension strategies, increasing their vocabulary, increasing their reading fluency. So what I have in the reading folder, affixes is working on prefixes and suffixes, and this is something that I've already taught to them, so they should be familiar with this. It was taught actually back in the beginning part of the year. And it's something that we just are always talking about when we are reading words. We'll say reading, oh, that has the suffix ing. And so we're always kind of talking about it. So these are just some activities that they can do to kind of keep them sharp and really thinking about these things. So again, we've got worksheets that can be printed, and you can also just have them orally do it for you if you're unable to print. Synonyms and antonyms are the same. Again, I taught synonyms and antonyms way back in I think October or November. So what I have here are just some activities that they can do that kind of reinforce. It also goes over context clues, which is something that students struggle with a little bit. Context clue is basically when they come across a word that they don't know in the sentence and how they can figure out what that word might mean. Then we have 2 other folders. Sight words are not for everybody. They're up here for students who are reading below grade level. For students who are at grade level, or especially students who are above grade level, sight words aren't as important. They're getting them when they read, but for our students who struggle a little bit with reading, sight words are really important. I will make a separate video about sight words if you feel like you need it. If you are unsure of what your child's reading level is and you're thinking, is this something that applies to them, just let me know and I can make a separate video going more in details. The passages one is going to be the one where we're going to work in here a lot, and you can choose to pull at different times. So passages, I have them separated into fiction and nonfiction. Basically what they are is they're just that. They're passages and questions. So if you click on them, it's going to be a reading passage. And so your child would read the passage, and then they would answer the questions that follow. Now, some of the reading passages have 2 different sets of questions. So if we look at, for example, Finding Grandpa's House, this one has a passage and questions, but then it has another set of separate questions. Same passage as the one we just opened, but these questions are a little bit more in depth, a little bit more rigorous, a little bit more what they would see like on an SOL test. And then there's nonfiction passages as well. We also, in nonfiction, have students have to be able to read recipes and follow directions. So we have some recipes in here: blueberry muffins, chocolate chip cookies, Rice Krispie treats, pizza, and then even some directions like how to make a volcano or how to make slime, that they can follow those rules and then also answer questions about what they've read about. We're also going to be using, these are called daily reading passages and questions. So essentially what they are is each week they'll focus on one reading passage. So for example, this is the first one. And then the second page has daily activities for them to do that focus on different areas of reading. So they all have a comprehension, a phonics, a structural analysis, which is focusing on grammar, and then an literature element, story element. And that would be for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Then on Friday, there's a constructed response, which is basically getting the students to write and respond to what they've read. It's important that when they do this, they answer incomplete sentences using capital letters and periods. There are some graphic organizers listed here as well. These are more for you as a parent. If you're wondering how else can I help and support my child, then here's some really good reading material for you if you want to know more. The biggest thing that I can say with any of these things, reading, writing, math, science, social studies, is that you, in order to really assess if your child is learning, they need to be reading and doing the activity on their own. And what I mean by that is, in other words, so in reading, if you're having them read a reading passage, it is very important that you don't read the passage to them, because that's not what I would do in school. I'm not reading to them. So they should be reading the passage. They should be answering the questions. Now, if your child is struggling to read it, you can certainly help them, but then that's also going to kind of clue you in that, hey, they need to be reading more because they're struggling in this area. So please, really make sure that, and same thing, if they're doing a math, they're doing a math worksheet, and even if you don't have it printed, if it's up on the computer, they really should be reading the question and the answer choice out loud and telling you what the answer is, and then you're just confirming right or wrong and guiding them to get the correct answer if they do or don't. So I know all of that seems really overwhelming, and you're like, well, great, you've given me all this material. What do I do with it? And the answer is you follow my lesson plans. So each week, my goal is to make what I'm going to call a daily lesson plan. So this is for next week, March 30th through April 3rd. You can see they're listed Monday through Friday, and I'm covering reading, writing, math, and then either science or social studies. We'll kind of flip back and forth. We'll teach a science unit, then a social studies unit, then a science unit. So in reading, they're going to read Thunks. Anywhere that you see a blue thing like this, if you click on it, it should open directly to whatever it is I'm talking about. So you click on it, and it takes you right to this passage. It tells you week 1 and what day to do. They're going to read a story and take an AR test, complete a synonym, antonym activity. It links you to the drive for that folder. You pick, your child can pick which activity do they want to do today. Then in writing, they're going to be writing. For my students, I'm going to actually put up on Google Classroom, I'm going to have something in place for them every week so that they can be responding on Google Classroom. But of course, they can always be writing, and then you could post that if you want to post it. Measurement, again, I'm giving you activities to do with them. Teaching measurement, and then we go into Math Facts in a Flash. Math Facts in a Flash is available on the same place they would take AR. So from the student portal, they click on Renaissance Place, and then they log into Math Facts in a Flash. And it basically practices their math facts, 1 + 1, 2 + 2, that kind of thing. And then Prodigy, iExcel, and Freckle are all online resources available through my blog, which your students should know how to get to, but you can also get to it through the main Hillpoint website, teachers and staff, 2nd grade, my name, click on the little world. And then Science and Social Studies leads you through lessons on plants, and then every day for Science and Social Studies, I'm also going to include a book to read with them that's on the particular subject we're studying in Science or Social Studies. Those will all be on Epic, which is a free online book source. I have sent an email to everybody inviting you to join Epic using the same email address you're signed up to with ClassDojo. So, This is my goal, is every week to have this for you by Monday of the beginning of that week so that you can know what to do every day. If you don't get to something, or you get busy, I understand. It's not just you and your one second grader at home. You might have multiple children, older, younger. You might still be working or working from home. So I'm not saying that you have to, Monday morning at 9 o'clock sit down and, all right, kids, boom, 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 we're knocking this out. If that's what you choose to do, that's what you choose to do. um, but my goal with this was just to provide you with an outline of, okay, how can I get this information to my child as best I can. I don't want you to stress yourself out about it and feel like, oh my gosh, I have a million things to do. How am I going, do what you need to do. If nothing else, if you don't do anything else with your child, have them read every day. That's the biggest thing, is that they need to be reading every day for at least 20 minutes, whether it's listening to stories on Epic, whether it's reading themselves a story. I mean, it does not matter, but you know, they're coming from where they're immersed in learning all day, every day, and it's going to be a big adjustment. So I'm here to help you as much as I can. I'm going to, of course, I'm available on Dojo all day, Monday through Friday, just like I would be if we were in school. I will check my Dojo regularly. I have my phone with me all the time. Sometimes it doesn't give me notifications, so if you message me on Dojo and I don't get back right away, it's because my phone chose not to tell me that you messaged me. But I try to check it multiple times a day when I'm at home. I will be putting these daily lesson plans out. I'll continue to do my daily vlog and read aloud with my kids, or for the kids, so that you can contact me about that. I might be looking into doing maybe once a week, doing some kind of like, every Friday, do maybe like a Zoom meeting so we can meet and live and chat together. Um, so we'll be looking at doing something like that every Friday, so that we can have at least once a week where we can see each other's faces and talk real time. Um, I'm going to be continuing to put stuff up on Google Classroom so that that's available for you. So we'll have kind of more firm schedules starting next Monday, because that's kind of when the real work begins, I suppose. I will probably be giving them the week off for spring break. So I'm going to kind of adhere to the same school holidays that we would normally adhere to. So spring break, you won't have any work necessarily. Memorial Day, they'll have that day off. And my plan is to continue this through the first week of June, because that would be kind of the same as if they were in class. We would be learning up through that first week of June. The last week of June, or last week of school, it's kind of more fun. Um, if this is helpful to you, please let me know. I don't mind doing it. Even if just one parent is using this, I will continue to make these every week. But if you could just let me know that you're using them, let me know if something's not working, if you're having difficulties. I want to make this as, I'm asking you for a lot. I'm asking you to really step into my shoes, and I know that that's asking a lot. So please let me know what I can do to help you. I'm also going to try and allow students to have Dojo access, because students should be able to log into Class Dojo as well. So I will make another Dojo post telling your student, telling you how to get your child in, and then I'll also make one on Google Classroom so the kids can figure out how to log in for themselves to Dojo, so they can be writing to me and sharing things with me, and the like. So again, I'm always here. I know that I'm not going to be able to see you in person for the remainder of the school year, but I'm always here if you need me. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and um, thank you again for all that you do. We couldn't do it without you.